Okay. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to today's event. My name's Aaron. I'm a event host here at Goto 10. For you who have not been here before, very welcome if it's your first time. We're an event space and also a co-working space. And for our members, if you'd like to be part of our wonderful community, you get access to this place and you get to use the place. We have lots of meeting rooms, lots of spaces for meeting. And if you want to find out more, if you want to see around the place, I'm here, so you can talk to me, can show you around. And if you want to become a member, please do. We're always, looking for new members to join us. So I'm going to pass you over to talk about our today's event. Thanks.
Thank you, Aaron, and welcome you all, the live audience and the streaming audience. Today we will hear a lot about AI for marketing, and this event is arranged by Visual Sweden and AI Sweden. My name is Sara Karlsson. I represent AI Sweden and Linköping Science Park. I work as a node manager in the east area of AI Sweden, and together with Felicia, my colleague, we will guide you through this morning. And Felicia, I'll hand it over to you, and you make a brief presentation of yourself and the first speaker.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Felicia Jakobsson, Process Manager and Operational Manager of the Innovation Initiative Visual Sweden. And I will introduce shortly about what we do, as well as Sara will introduce you to AI Sweden. But first things first, today's agenda. We have two excellent speakers with us today who's going to talk about AI for marketing. And the first one that you're going to hear is Johanna Björklund, Associate Professor at the Umeå University and also one of the brilliant minds behind the Swedish large language model. But today she's going to talk about how you can use AI for personalized advertisement and marketing. Then we're going to have a coffee and mingle break. And during this time, we encourage you to have discussions and talk further with Johanna and also with our next speaker, Fredrik.
Yes, Fredrik, could you please raise your hand so everybody will know you? This is Fredrik Lundberg, Head of Marketing at the company iMatrics. And this company and Fredrik has a great experience of assisting publishers in utilizing AI tools. So Fredrik will tell us on how AI can serve as a powerful tool for publishers and how delve into practical implementations. So iMatrics is an international company that helps publishers and the media companies worldwide to extract and use metadata in their digital business. So don't miss the opportunity during the fika break to talk to Fredrik and also to Johanna, as Felicia just said. So as we go through the day following the seminars, we will also have a panel discussion, as you see in the agenda, and a short panel discussion, depending on how much time there will be left of the day. And finally, we will have a lunch together, and then we will be able to talk to each other and also to talk to the speakers, of course. So with that, I will hand this microphone over to Felicia to speak a little bit about visualization and the theme for today, of course.
Okay. So why are we talking about this? So I mean, what trends are we currently seeing? This is a citation from Nate Silver, where he's saying that the information amount of information is increasing by 2.5 quintillions. Quintillions is 10 with 18 zeros after bytes per day. So what does this tell us? Well, most of this information is actually noise. So how do we explain, how do we break through the noise? How can we make ourselves relevant as a company, as a person, to reach out with our important messages? And I usually start with the next image. Yeah, you can press. So going through to yourself and your own senses, we usually say that taste represents 1, while smell and hearing, that's 10 times bigger. And now I'm talking about the bandwidth from your brain to these senses. Touch, then we are up on 100. Well, everyone knows that you react quite fast, right? If you get burnt or if you hit yourself, then you react fast. So the bandwidth is 100 times to the taste. But of course, the vision, it's 1,000 times. So this means if you want to communicate something that's important, then you have 100 times bandwidth to the brain than if I just try to explain something and make you hear and understand, if you use a video or an image. But to get there, you have to be in the processes behind, such as image analysis that we're talking about, picking up information from video, from images, and collect the data, filtering it, and then do the visualization. Then you get the 100 times to the hearing. So we usually say that these senses create the highway to the brain. And this is why we're here. I have the honor to run Visual Sweden, the innovation initiative Visual Sweden, in this flagship environment that we're in now, both in Linköping and Norrköping, where we have very excellent research within the field, along with 102 companies that says that they are experts within visualization and image analysis. And along with them, we have supported 102 projects in different sizes. We have a little bit over 2,300 participant hours in stimulation events, so idea generation is very important for us to create innovation. And we do a lot of communication around what's going on in the field, surveys, and we also look for other money to put in these innovations. And the core is, of course, collaboration. And today we're collaborating with AI Sweden. So I'm going to leave the mic over to you, Sarah.
Thank you. Yes, I represent then AI Sweden, which is probably an organization that some of you have heard of, or maybe not. And then I will just explain. So, AI Sweden is a non-profit organization which is funded by different sources, but mostly Vinnova. And the aim is to accelerate the use of AI for Sweden as to benefit for our society and our competitiveness and for everyone in Sweden. Yes, and so it's a national center, and it's non-profit, and it's broadly funded. So, the members in AI Sweden come from private sector and public sector and the academia. And what we do in AI Sweden, well, we support or lead the AI acceleration through leadership and collaboration and enablers. I speak a bit fast now because I want to let the main speakers have the time. So just briefly, trying to coach Sweden in using AI. That's the aim, and we're trying in different ways to do that. And the organization comes from different the organization is staffed from different host organizations, which you can see over there. And I will not go into deeper information on that right now, but I will tell you that the AI Sweden national organization is also divided into several geographical areas. So I am responsible for the East area. And you can contact me if you have any questions afterwards or at the fika time. We also have a site in Montreal in Canada because we have found that Canada and Sweden have a lot in common. Last picture is, yes, the aim or the foundation of AI Sweden is that we invest together as the member organization invest, and we share with many. That's the whole aim. So it's a joint venture effort for Sweden. Thanks. And now we will get back to agenda, and it's 9:15. So we will let Johanna Björklund take over the stage. And Johanna, you should stand here. It's very
particular
important.
spot.
And
But how can I reach my computer?
Yes, maybe we can arrange something here.
Ah, okay, it's because of the broadcasting. Maybe someone
Yes.
can then do like
Yes,
for
we
me.
we will do the click.
But yeah, okay, yeah, why not? Yeah, exactly. Like remote technology. Let's see. Nice to meet you. So while they get this going, I might ask, so how many of you identify as current or future entrepreneurs? Very good. And researchers? Who are the researchers? And computer vision experts, or interested in computer vision at least? Yeah, very good. I don't know what the rest of you are doing here, but we see. So I'm a bit tired. I was at the KAV Christmas dinner yesterday and it ran rather late, but I'll make a valiant effort. Oh, I have to log in, yes. I was like, why is she not logging in? Because she doesn't know my password. Okay. View. I took off my glasses because they don't collaborate with this one, but then I can't see. So, we have to. Okay. Sorry. We're file. Can you help me make this full screen, please? I can't see the menu. View. Here we go. Here we go. Slide. I think it's slideshow. Okay, very good now. Okay, so the topic of my talk is AI-driven advertising. And there is not a lot of computer vision in this talk per se, but that's because computer vision is missing from the equation. So if you're looking for something that you could contribute, then this is a good idea to where to put the, where you can contribute a product. On the full screen then. Okay, so, yes. So a few words about me first. So I am a woman of many hats because I have difficulty saying no to things. So let's see now. So this is what I will talk about today. I will talk about myself first, and then about two different orthogonal ways of looking at internet advertising. First about online advertising in general, but then about two different ways of making this happen. Then about how machine learning enters the picture and where computer vision could fit in, and then some ideas for the future, like what future work that is missing and how I think that this field will develop. Oh yeah, I have to stay there. Okay. So about me then. So I have a PhD in theoretical computer science, and that's because I really enjoy doing maths. I think that's like one of the great things of life. But when I decided what I wanted to study, then I thought, okay, I also want like a decently paid job. So then going for computer science seems like a good combination between doing math and getting paid. So I got my degree in 2007, and since then I've continued to work in this direction, but now I look more and more about applications. And here I focus on like semantic parsing of multimodal content. So that means that you have text, video, audio, and then you try to extract what's going on in these content pieces and translate that into a machine understandable format that you can use for downstream tasks. So we'll get to that, but I have, okay. And then, so I'm still doing this, so I'm still doing active research, and I have a research group at Umeå University. But in parallel to this, I'm running the Wallenberg Research Arena for Media and Language. So this is abbreviated VARA Media and Language, and it's part of the WASP program. So hands up if you know about WASP. Okay, half of you. So the Wallenberg family, through the Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation, kindly devoted somewhere around 6-7 billion Swedish kronor to research in AI, autonomous systems and software for the good of the country. So it's a really huge research project. I think it's actually the largest focused research project to date, and it will be running until 2031. And the idea again is to promote research on these topics and to get the results out into society so that Sweden will be competitive also in the future. And I'm taking part of this research arena, which is focusing on applications in media and language. So it's essentially an interface between this really, really big research project and surrounding society. And my job is to provide lasting infrastructure resources that go beyond the scope of any individual sub-project, but also do networking between the researchers that are involved in this and companies and societal organizations. So if there is time at the end of my talk, I want to present this in the case that you would want to join this in one way or another. And it's also orthogonal to AI Sweden, I would say, because AI Sweden, my understanding is that the focus is more maybe about more immediate tech utilization, creating value here and now. And with this WASP connector projects, the horizon is further, so maybe it's 5 years away, but 5 years will still come. Then I have two companies. So the first one is called the Code Mill, and this was founded in 2008. And then me and my friend Rickard, we went up to the local incubator and said that we were setting up a company. And they asked us what our business idea was. And I said that, well, I have really good grades. And it turns out that that's not a business idea, even if it helps. So in the beginning, we did absolutely everything. I mean, the name was just something that we found because we tried different combinations of code and soft and mill and out online, and then code mill stuck. So we developed projects and we did consulting. We even tried to do like a detection system for seeing if there were like false starts in trav, so tjuvstarter i trav. So we were all over the place. But with time, we came to specialize on online production. So now CodeMill does web-based video production tools for some of the largest broadcasters in the world, so Amazon Prime and HBO. And it's noted now if you want to buy a very price-worthy stock. Then my second project is Aterna Labs, and there we do contextual advertising. So this means that I'm not an unbiased party. So we try to, in real time, follow what is being published in the major news outlets in Europe and see what topics they are writing about, and then match this with advertisers that we're working with. So if we're working with someone that produces a sugar-free ice cream, then everyone that is writing about like maybe dental care, then we make a little flag and say, okay, this is where we might want to put an ad for this ice cream. Yes. So it's I mean, what attracted me was the technology. Yeah, please. So, okay. So now I want to give you a crash course in online advertising. I'm sure that all of you have come in contact with it, but I think few of you knows very much about what's happening behind the screens. So please. So when you go to DN in the morning, for instance, then you see something like this. There is the main content of the page, and then there are the banners. So the banner ads, these little things that promote things to you. So these advertisements, they are one of the two main sources of income for online publishers. So the first one is, of course, subscription, but in parallel to that and of equal magnitude is advertising. And it is annoying, but journalists need to eat too. So if you don't want to pay for this subscription, I think that we have to live with the banners. But I wanted to talk you through what happens when you come to such a page. So when you go to DN, you type in a URL, you come to the main page, then maybe you click an article that you find interesting, click, and then this happens. So then we go to the next slide. So here are you. You are up in this corner. You are part of the audiences. And according to this slide, at least, you are in a symbiosis with the publisher, so you want to read their content. So you ask, can I please see this page? And then the publisher server, it asks its ad server, okay, hey, Johanna is coming here. She wants to read this article about gardening. Do we have anything relevant to show her? And then the ad server might say, yeah, we made a one-on-one deal with BMW. No, not BMW. In my case, Toyota. Toyota, that every time someone reads about gardening, we should show her an ad. So then they can answer immediately based on their negotiated deals. But more commonly, the ad server says that, nope, we have no idea. We don't have anything prepared. So then what happens is the ad server contacts a supply side platform. And it's called supply side because you are the supply. So on the other hand, we have advertisers, and they are looking for audiences, and the publisher supplies audiences. And the supply side platform communicates with a number of so-called ad exchanges. So it says that, hey, Johanna is going to read about gardening. Who wants to show her an ad? And then on the other side of this system, we have the advertisers. And then maybe we have Coca-Cola. And they are interested just in buying any impressions. And this me looking at an article and being shown ads are called impressions. So they're looking at any opportunity of showing ads. It doesn't really matter to whom. But then we might also have Granngården, and they say that, okay, if someone is reading about gardening, then we want to do it. Or then we might have Proviva, and they say, if you have middle-aged women, then we want to show an ad. So there are many people that are competing to show their ads. So they communicate with the ad exchange through a demand-side platform. So it's demand because it's the advertisers that want to show the ad. And then in the middle, we have what my company is, which is a data management platform, and it informs both sides of this online exchange. So it tells the advertisers all they know about, be like, who am I, what am I reading, what am I a return customer, and so forth. And there are typically many demand-side platforms that specialize in different types of data. So one might specialize in different type of user segments. They know if I'm a man or a woman and how old I am. And another DMP might specialize in knowing about my reading history, for instance. So this demand-side platform collects all the information it knows, and then the advertisers can adjust their bids based on this information. And then they send the bid to the ad exchange. The one that has given the highest bid, they get to share their ad to the ad server and also sync their cookies with my browser. And then the ad is shown to me. And this entire chain happens in 400 milliseconds. So less than the time it takes to blink an eye, you have had this entire digital auction with all the parties involved. Yes. Yeah, so that's it. And this is what finances a large part of the open internet. And the major players, I would say, are things like, Google and Microsoft are really dominant because they control essentially all sides of this exchange. Thank you. So this is a really good place to apply machine learning because there is clearly a lot of data. So, I don't know, every day my little company is handling millions of requests, and I think we have billions of ad viewings daily. If you just look at, so assuming that half of the world's population have access to internet and they watch one site per day, then we are talking about billions about impressions every day. And if you want to train a machine learning system, it's good if there's a clear success criteria. What does it mean to accomplish a task well? And here, accomplishing a task well means picking situations where I can place an ad so that the ad results in a desired action from the user. This is typically clicking, but it can also be clicking and then going to a landing site and doing a desired action, which can be to subscribe or it can be to buy something. So you can try to have a machine learning system that focuses on either the cost per impression, so how cheap is it to show people ads, or cost per click, so how expensive is it to get someone to click, or how expensive is it to get someone to click on the ad, go to the page, and do what you want them to accomplish. So we had a customer that did hair extensions, for instance, and they thought that it was worth 300 kronor to get someone to come to their page. That's because if they come to their page and buy a first product, because the the likelihood that they would be return customers is so great that they can buy 300 kronor, pay 300 kronor easily for someone coming and buying just anything. And then again, success can be automatically evaluated. So we can train machine learning systems to optimize ad placements for us. Yes, we can continue. So this type of auctions that happen in real time, it's called programmatic, and it's just programmatic because it's automated. So the large majority of all ad placements are programmatic advertisements, so more than 90% at the very least. And these fall into two categories. They can be personalized or they can be contextual. So let's look at them one at a time. So personalized advertising is the currently dominating form of advertisement. And it looks something like this. You go to Yahoo, and then you get ads based on who you are, like men from you from Texas, so it knows I'm a man and I'm from Texas, prefer a healthy lifestyle. So you say that clearly you're one of the kinds that should sign up for the Weight Watchers. So this is spot on personalized advertising. And it is, sadly enough, very, very effective. I mean, it's hard to beat personalized advertising if it comes to get return on investments of your advertising money. Because the more you know about the person, the easier it is to sell something to them. But we can continue. And this is using something called cookies. And I think that all of you have a vague idea what a cookie is. But it's a small data package that were initially used to allow your browser to keep track of the state that you're in on a web page. So when you access a web page, you use the hypertext transfer protocol. And this is stateless. So if you're a server and I'm the user and I say, hey, I would like this web page, please. And then I get the web page and then I click, okay, I'm going to go to this menu item. Then I say, okay, now I want to see this web page again. Then I get the exact same web page again. I have not navigated down the menu because it's stateless. It doesn't remember. So to allow it to remember menu items, I can say, okay, I get the web page, and then I save this little, I choose this menu item, and this results in me having a little data package, a cookie stored on my computer saying that, okay, I chose this. And then the next time I ask, you say, okay, what is your status? And then I say, this is my status. Okay, then this is the web page version you should be looking at. And then I really navigated down the menu. Sorry for the confusion, but the cookies were originally designed to help our exchange be in the sense that it remembers salient facts, like where am I in the menu? What have I put in my my varukorg? What's that? My cart, yeah, and so forth. But then over time, people came up with the idea that, okay, we can, you can give me a little data package that tells me what you know about me, and the next time I interact with you, you ask me for that data package back, and then you learn something about me. So this can be used to fingerprint my activities across the internet, simply. So long story short, cookies were originally just used as a constructive part of the internet, but now they are being used to track people across the internet and offer personalized advertising. So we can go to the next page. But personalized advertising has a number of drawbacks. So one was made clear with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. And the Cambridge Analytica had collected a lot of data from Facebook about how people were thinking when preparing for an upcoming election. I think it was the US election. And then Cambridge Analytica, they mapped out people that seemed to be so-called swing voters, that they were not like a firm part of either camp. They were the kind of voters that would decide in the very last minute whom to vote on. So then they sold this data to the Republicans campaign, and then they used this to target advertising towards people that were not undecided. So this sort of gave them an in a sense unfair competitive advantage in the election. So by using personalized advertising, you can also push political messages, and it's not obvious that we want this in our democratic systems. So the companies that I'm involved with, we said that we don't do political advertising for that reason. So then we have the next one. And that, I think, is that it can increase the gap between demographic groups. So I guess that all of you know that women are not inherently born to like pink and men are not inherently born to like blue. And the color coding of the genders pink and blue in our culture is not representative for all cultures. So there are other cultures where maybe brown and beige are the male and female colors and so forth. And going back 100 years in Europe, then pink was a boy's color. But by saying something often enough, you tend to make it true. And if you have personalized advertising, so you offer some product to women and some product to men, I think you can make gender gaps happen that weren't there to begin with. So if you always push pink towards women and blue towards men, then you will have a society where women say, like, I like pink. Pink is like a nice female color, even though this is not like part of like a scientific truth. So I think that if by treating different demographic groups differently, we will create differences where there were none to begin with, or we will grow differences. And I think also this is bad and dangerous. We continue. But the cookies are dying, and with it maybe personalized advertising. So Chrome has said that now in 2004 they will forbid the use of third-party cookies. So the third-party cookie is cookies that are given to you that does not come from the publisher that you currently are interacting with, but rather from like a DMP, like a data management platform. So they will start removing 1% of all cookies after New Year's for testing purposes, and then in Q3 next year they will cut the remainder of the cookies. And this is a big deal because if you look at Chrome, so Google's browser Chrome, then it's responsible for more than 50% of all internet traffic. So there were smaller browsers that had cut cookies before, but now the most dominant player is saying that, okay, we're abandoning cookies now. So this means that advertisers are looking for new strategies to target their audiences. We can continue. And they are maybe not doing this only for altruistic purposes. So, I mean, they do recognize that there are problems with data privacy and GDPR and the California Privacy Act related to cookies, that if they cut cookies, then these will go away. But they also want to make a profit. And a large part of why cookies can be removed now is that the AAA, so Google, Facebook, and Amazon, the really big online players, they have set up what is so-called walled gardens. So if you advertise on Facebook, for instance, then you advertise completely through in their system. So cookies are not really needed. I mean, they know all there is to know about you. And if I want to target an audience, then they say, you don't have to use cookies because we know all that there is to know about these people. So just ask us and we'll tell you who like bicycles and who like bears. So it is not that we will not be tracked anymore. It's just that we will be tracked by fewer and bigger players, and that the other smaller players will have to buy to get private information about us. So it's called walled gardens again, because when you are working within the Google sphere or the Facebook sphere, then you are completely in their hands. You have to use their entire technological stack. Yes. No, Meta as a whole company. I mean, it would be really silly if they didn't share between sub-organizations. No, it's a really good point, and I still say Facebook and Twitter. It's called Facebook and Twitter. Yes, please. So then we come to contextual advertising, which I think is not a problem-free, but at least a reasonable alternative. Then we can continue. And this is something that we did a few years ago, when Brexit was about to finally happen. So we helped the Swedish Customs Office to inform entrepreneurs about what they needed to prepare for Brexit, or what they needed to do to prepare for Brexit. So then we indexed online publishers that were writing about Brexit, and then we told the Customs Office that, okay, this is a good opportunity to place their ad about Brexit. And I think this campaign turned out quite successful. Again, we don't know that we're speaking to entrepreneurs. We only know that we're speaking to someone that is reading about Brexit. But yeah, again, one might narrow it down by going for the right online publishers. Okay, next, please. But this placement that you just saw, we do that purely based on text. But one could, of course, also look at the image content, and we'll get back to that. And it's also important when you look at contextual advertising, not only to look at what is said in the surrounding media content, but also where on the page will the ad appear. So this can also be seen as contextual information, because the most attractive slots to appear on a page is at the very top, then on the left side, and then somewhere here on the right side. So this is sort of, I think 80% will see an ad if it's like a big header here, and maybe 70 here around, and maybe 60 here, and things that are happening here or at like a slim line at the very top, less than 30% notice. So we contextual advertising, and this is not something that we're doing, but someone else might want to offer this as a service, is to predict based on where the ad will be shown, what is the likelihood that it will be seen, because this is also information that is valuable to the advertiser. So we can continue. Another thing that could be relevant for computer vision is to understand when an ad is placed in a video, what does the surrounding video content talk about? So programmatic advertising is responsible for more than 90% of all online ads that you see when you surf across the internet, but it's still responsible for a fairly small portion of the video ads. So if you go to YouTube, for instance, but it's being built out there. And here I think there is also like a place, if you have a computer vision company, to be able to categorize video company and say that, okay, this is, we see people here, it's outdoors, it's daylight, they are showing these products, because again, this can inform ad placements in video content. Yes. Then another thing that is related both to computer vision, to text classification, but also to psychology is the notion of priming. And that's because when we set out to have this company, we thought that, okay, if people want to advertise for sugar-free ice cream, then they should look for cases where people write about sugar-free ice cream. But that's not the best strategy. Rather, you want to look for desirable priming effects. So there has been research that's shown that depending on sort of what mental state you're in, you make different associations. So there was one research group that showed an audience 2 different articles. So one of it was about climate crisis, and the other one was about airline safety. And then next to it, they showed this ad for a really big car. And the people that were reading about climate crisis, they thought when they saw the car about, energy problems, like it uses a lot of gas, so it's not well efficient when it comes to gas simply. But the group that read about airline safety, they thought about safety first, so they had like more positive connotations with the car, that this is probably safe to drive in. And this is largely unexplored, that we don't really know when you read about something and then you see a particular product, what kind of associations will you derive? Will they be positive or negative? And we see, for instance, that if we now want to sell maybe sugar-free ice cream, then we shouldn't look at where people are writing about sugar-free ice cream. Maybe childhood obesity and dental hygiene are better situations to be in, but this is just based on speculation. But again, I think this is something that will come more in the future, that will start to map out how people associate. Then I have a PhD student who looked at like negative instances on priming and association. So he looked at what happens when you place an ad next to negative content, and especially what happens when you place an ad next to negative content if the ad and the content is topically very similar. And the motivation for this study was that advertisers, they often use something called block listing. And a block list is a list of situations in which an advertiser doesn't want their content to be shown. So typical things that an advertiser would have on their block list is like accidents, death, like politics, like a long list of things that they think can be controversial. So they say that, okay, please show my ad, but not in these situations. But this is problematic for like news publishers, because a lot of the content that they cover is quite negative in nature. And this means that they can't monetize a large portion of their content. So then they have to also have like lifestyle sections where they write about harmless things, because that is where the advertisers are willing to be shown. So this is a little bit stupid. So then we tried. So then we showed like users different combinations of articles and ads. So here we have an article from our negative, and this is all like mock. So this is, I mean, the article is real. Dagens Nyheter is of course real, but the advertisement is not real. It's made up, and this configuration is not real either. But we did different configurations and showed that to audiences and asked for their opinion about the ad and the situation. So here we have like a negative ad, and it says that many women with eating disorders die. And here is an ad about a dog that is happy. And then we can go to the next page. And then we have the same article, but now we have an ad where where there is a strong topical congruence between the ad and the article. So here it's about like a pill that you can eat to reduce your weight. And then we asked the audiences what they thought about this. And what we found was that in social media, it appears that then there is like you have a strong influence that if your ad is seen in a negative context, then this context will influence your ad. But we saw less of this in news media, and it appears that that's because people are prepared that when they go to a news sites, they will read about serious topics. So then they are quite reluctant that they don't blame the associated ads for the topic. And this is also true even when there is a strong congruence between the topic and the ad. So we were a little bit surprised to see that people didn't seem to mind this kind of combinations. They just accepted it as chance. Yes, so I think our takeaway was that, okay, people may still want to use block listing to have like very strong congruences between an article and the product that they are trying to sell. But it's more because maybe 1 out of 100 will get really, really upset and write on social media. It's not because people in general mind this that much. And I would say this is good news because for publishers, because then they don't have to have this like extra soft content. They can actually get an income based on just the regular coverage. So we can continue. So let's do a few words about machine learning. So as I said, online advertising is a really good ground for machine learning because there is so much data and you get immediate feedback on if you're doing things right or wrong. And we use all 3 major paradigms of machine learning. So we have the supervised learning, the unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So with supervised learning, you have different objects, or rather, let me try to make this less abstract. Yeah, maybe in supervised learning, we want to help someone that is selling dog food. So we want to pick up all articles that are about dogs. And to do this, we have a set of articles that we know for certain are about the dogs and a number of articles that we know for certain are not about dogs. And then we can train a machine learning system. So maybe we represent these as points in a space. So maybe this is a highly dimensional space. So one dimension of this axis is how many times you mention the word like walk, and another axis is how many times you mention the word pet, and then another axis is how many times you mention, well, the word dog itself or furry. And then you put the articles into this space. So if you mention walk 5 times and pet 1 time and dog maybe 0 times and furry maybe 0 times, then you get the coordinate in this space. So all articles become a point in a really high dimensional space. And then your machine learning problem is trying to find like a way of separating, like cutting this space so that you get all the articles that are about dogs on the one side and all articles that are about not dogs on the other side. And then once you have that, then you have a system that now given an article that we've not seen before, we just place it in the space and then we see, it falls on the not dog related content side. So that's supervised learning, and that's something that we do, and it's probably the most common form of machine learning. I can continue. Then we also want to do reinforcement learning. We're not currently doing it, but I think maybe Google, for instance, are doing it. And here the idea is that you have like an agent, and the job of this agent is to place advertisements. So it plays a potentially infinite sequence of rounds, and in each round it gets like an impression. It gets like, okay, this person wants to read about this content. Should we place our ad about dog food here or not? Yes or no? And then it says, yes, we should, and we should bid this much. So maybe it says, yes, we should bid 10 kronor to show this advertisement. And then it gets feedback, so it gets like a small negative signal maybe if it bid too low, so it didn't get to show the ad at all. But it gets a larger negative feedback if it paid the price and still didn't get a click, and then it gets a large positive feedback if it paid the price and got a click. And then it does this over and over and over again. And the idea is that over time, this agent should become better at guessing whether or not a situation is a good placement for an ad, and if so, how much it should bid on that placement. So this is something that's done by people today, that you just say that, okay, I want my ad to be seen in this kind of context. But the problem is that the internet is always evolving. So it's very hard to know for certain what kind of contexts are even available. So for instance, if you want to say, okay, this article about Christmas trees should be shown next to Christmas content, but that content is only a bounded part of the year, and the rest of the year you have to go for different situations. And this is something that could be helped with reinforcement learning, because then over time the agent will find that if I only bid on Christmas related content, then I don't get enough impressions, so I have to broaden my strategy. So we can continue. And then the final form of machine learning we're using is called data clustering. And that's because typically what we want to do is not maybe just say that, okay, we have these 20 categories that we're looking for. So we're not just looking for articles about dog, articles about sugar-free ice cream, but rather we're saying we want to be able to like place an ad next to essentially every article. We just want to know what categories are out there. And this changes day by day. So one week, for instance, you might have that, okay, they have an election in Denmark, and then the next week maybe Lale has like a gig in Gothenburg or something. So there are always new stories and they come and go. So what we started to do there is that we have like in real time we create a clustering of articles. So based on their similarity, again, if you think about that vector space that I sketched before, we take articles that are similar and lump them together and say, okay, this seems to be one topic and this is another topic. And then maybe we find that, okay, 10 clusters are responsible for 50% of all traffic. Then we go in and look in those clusters and see, okay, the big thing this year in Sweden, this week in Sweden is the final in Eurovision. So that's a lot of articles about that, and a lot of people are reading that content. So then we can inform the advertisers that, okay, this is a really good context to be seen in right now. Can you fit your message to this context? So it's rather like being opportunistic, that we explore what is being published about, and then we can help advise advertisers. And we can continue. So this is, again, to those of you that are interested in contributing to this network or computer vision, that we see that out of all the articles that are published online, a very small number, I think like maybe on YouTube, I'm guessing 1% make up like 90% of the views. So 1% of the content makes up 90% of the views. I'm making these figures up, but they are not too far off the mark. So there's a very small number of articles and videos that are responsible for the most reads. And the rest of them are only seen by a few people. If you look at Swedish news publications, then the sports articles are here and the culture articles are over here. Almost no one reads the culture pages. And also we found that a typical reading journey, if you go to a newspaper, is that people, they start out with politics, then they pop around, and then they eventually go to sports and never leave sports. So it's like a sync state. Yes, so I think that what you need when you classify content is that you need different approaches for the head and the long tail of the content. So what we do is that not to analyze the entire internet, rather than we sit there and wait, and then someone says like, hey, do you know about this article? What is this article about? And then we say, don't know something, maybe based on the URL, it's probably about sports. And then we remember that someone asked us, and then we get the same request again, and we say, don't know, possibly about sports. But after a number of times we say that, maybe we should have a look at this article because many people seem to be reading it. So then we can analyze it, and then we say, actually it's about sports, but it's also about doping maybe and female rugby. And then we have a much clearer idea for the future. So we are a little bit lazy in our analysis. And I think you need the same approach here, that you should do like a lazy analysis, that if you get requests for the same data items only a few times, then you do like a least effort classification. But if you notice that it tends to belong in the head, then maybe you pull in more horsepower and use like some sort of deep learning method, something that's computationally expensive but also gives you a good understanding of the content. So we need diverse machine learning models. Can go to the next page. Boom, boom. Again, so this is what is still missing from the picture. So for text, we have something that's called TDF-IDF, so term frequency inverse document frequency. It's a really simple method that has been around for 20 years. And it's really easy to implement, and we can quickly decide what the document is about. But I don't know if there is something similar for images. So maybe those of you that are working on computer vision knows if there are like inexpensive ways of taking a picture and quickly having a fair guess what's going on in the picture. Because, I mean, with advertisements, it's really like a balance about like how much does the data analysis cost versus how much more likely is it that I can sell stuff next to this image if I know what's in this image. And then you don't want the highest accuracy. You just want like a good balance between accuracy and cost of classification. So like simple and inexpensive methods for classifying image content. I browsed a little bit and I found that there are some efforts that can sort of guesstimate what's going on in an image, but I think more are needed. Then another one is story discovery based on image. So as I said, we cluster news articles to see what are the journalists writing about this week, but this is purely based on text. And it would be really nice to do this for Instagram, for instance, to see what are people posting about this week. So can we organize the pictures based on like what are the topics about? And then also finally visibility predictions of ads on rendered pages. So then often a script on a web page is so complex that the only way to really understand where an ad is ending up is to render the page and see, okay, it ended up in this corner or that corner. And then also like what content is surrounding it. Is the same content similar in color? Is this sort of the boldest item on the page, or will it be outshone by other more colorful items on the page? So it would be nice to, given a web page, have a system that predicted how likely is it that my ad will be like noted by the reader if it's shown in this place on this ad next to this other content. So that's also like an open question for computer vision. But yeah, so if I were you, I would really like look into this, like can we cluster images based on like semantic similarity, and also can we do like fast and inexpensive image tagging? So we can continue a bit. So then, yeah, looking towards the future. I think what we will see is more of situations where we have big advertisers that not only uses personalized but also contextual advertising. So this is IKEA, and they had a campaign, or rather IKEA, they know that they, maybe they still have, like, I mean, they have a work to do to make people aware about how they work with sustainability. So they ran a campaign where they wrote about their sort of key beliefs and linked, and if you click on this, you get to a page where IKEA talks about how they work with human rights. But then they sort of want to own this topic, like what does human rights mean? So then every time you have an article that is about human rights, then IKEA could bid for that article, so that when people are discussing this topic, they make a little statement and say how they work with it. And this can be good and bad. I mean, clearly it can be used for different types of greenwashing, of course, but it can also be used for companies to sponsor topics that they think are important. Because when IKEA plays their ad here, they're also paying for the publication of this article. We can go to the next. And then I think what we really should be worried about is the combination of personalized and contextual advertising. Because if we run these two together, then I mean the technology that we do, where we analyze what's in the articles, if that is paired with cookies, then we can essentially put like a very detailed reading history on all of you. And I mean, there is already like a browsing history, you know what pages you are on, but you can also do at the level of like what is said in the individual articles. So you can do this a lot more fine-grained. And it's essentially like having someone looking over your shoulder while you're browsing and just taking note, like exactly what you're reading. So I hope that there will be like legislation that says that we can't use these two in combination, or at least not without the total transparency and like the user like approves every little thing that is added to the record. Because I'm a vegan and I think it would be helpful if people knew that, so I got less ads for non-vegan products. Okay. And then finally, one thing is that also if you know how these systems work, then sometimes you can use it to your advantage. So there's something that's called retargeting, which I think you've noted, and that is that if you browse the product on a company site, then you are like, I don't know, 5 times more likely to buy this product than anyone else. So the company is willing to spend a lot of money to show you this product again. And this principle is called retargeting, and that is why you can be stalked by companies if you browse their homepage. But there's also this that if you put something in your cart and then you don't finish the buy, then you're also recognized by the company as very, very near to becoming a customer. And they are typically willing to do some little action to push you into actually buying this stuff. So if you like, you can try to trigger discounts by putting stuff in your cart and then just leaving, and then see if they will offer you a discount to come back and actually buy this. And it works on some sites at least. Yes. So, okay, so that was it. Sorry, thank you.
Now, yes. Thank you, Johanna.
Okay.
And now it's time for you, the audience, to speak. Do you have any questions? I guess you have lots of questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to wait for the mic. Okay. I'll use this one so it's easier.
Yes, I would like to address the fact that ChatGPT and Bing Chat, they give the answers already in the immediately. So you don't even have to go to the web page eventually.
That's a super good question, and that's
so
yeah. I
it's
didn't
a
think
big,
about
big
it.
change.
Yeah. Because again, it's almost like they, in a sense, are stealing content.
Yes.
I mean, there's no advertising revenue at all for the original publisher. I didn't think about that. That's really bad. That's my answer. It's bad.
It's bad.
But I don't have a good answer. I don't know. I think that I hope that the publisher. I mean, without the publishers, there would be no internet. So at some point, I mean, it should also be in Google's interest that they will survive. Otherwise, they will not have a product to sell. Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes. Now. Yeah.
I was wondering, when you work with this, what are the ethical regards you need to take?
Yeah. So we have a weekly meeting, and one point on every week is like ethical considerations. It's like a standing thing, and then it's often like, do we promote alcohol, for instance? So if someone says that we have this wine, do we do it? And then we said that we try to avoid combinations of alcohol and major holidays. We don't think it's a good combination, but we said that okay, beer and pages about cooking recipes, like Japanese beer on a site about sushi. We said that that's okay. So we try to discuss from time to time, but we said no politics, no religion, no heavy drugs and alcohol. I mean, no tobacco and no companies that are owned by tobacco companies. And I'm not saying that this is like absolute moral truths. I'm just saying that this, in our little team, this is what we decided on. But it's something that we discuss every week.
Right. Where do you find the legislators? Where do you find that the legislators are in regards to like protecting people's integrity while being online?
I think it's a bit ineffectual, the situation we have now with GDPR, because you are essentially hijacked. I mean, if you don't accept the cookies, then no internet for you. So I don't know what we should do about this. I mean, we have a legislation that protects us, but it's based on consent. And if we freely give away our personal information without not really knowing what it will be used for, then it's not useful. So I think we need to mature. I think we need sharper regulation, and I also think that maybe us as the consumers need to be more aware. The boring answer.
No, but I get it.
Yeah.
So, anyone else?
Yeah. If there are no more questions, then I can say a few words about the research arena too.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So the research arena, it's again, it's just like a meeting place between this research community, WASP, so really strong researchers in AI, and surrounding society. And it's free to join, and we have a number of annual events. So we have NLP seminars, we have a research retreat in Åre. We typically have like a major summer school about the generation of human communication. So we have lots of nice activities. We also have some GPU service to offer. We have interesting data sets. We have all the things, and it's free. So if you have a company that is doing AI in one way or another, then you are very free to reach out to me, and then we can see if there is something that you could do together with this effort. So it's it's in some ways similar to AI Sweden, but in other ways not. Sorry, so more focus on research, more focus on AI perhaps, but not, yeah.
Different angles of the same.
Yeah, and we collaborate, I mean, two organizations. So, yeah.
So feel free later on during the coffee break to talk to Johanna regarding the opportunities of joining this
The
research
arena, or
and
advertising, or
advertising.
setting up companies, or
Yeah.
combining companies and doing research, or running.
Perfect.
Yes.
So we'll come back to you, Johanna, in a while when we have the panel discussion. But you'll stay here during the fika break now, and so we'll take 30 minutes of break. And feel free to take more coffee. There's some sandwiches left. If you have any allergies or food preferences, there's you go and talk to the cafe over there. So stay. And next up will be Fredrik. So looking forward to that. And we'll see you back here at 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 back here. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. So, have we got everyone back from the break? I hope so. Some people had to leave, but now I see the rest of you has assembled here. So, let's continue with the program. Next on stage is Fredrik Lundberg from iMatrics. And Fredrik, you have to introduce yourself a little bit better than this. Fredrik will talk about 45 minutes or so. But if you have a lot of questions, we have more time since we are a bit ahead of the program. So feel free. But I will let you start then, Fredrik. And here you go. Don't miss the spot.
Don't miss the spot. Okay, yeah, never heard that before. Just kidding. So, hi everyone, I'm Fredrik. I think I can start with my journey so you understand more about who I am and why I'm here. On this day, 4 years and 7 months ago, I did my first day at iMatrics in this exact building. iMatrics was a company that did AI in the publishing industry. We were sitting in this building up at LEAD, Startup Incubator, and we were a team of 5, having a couple of Swedish clients that used our auto-tagging for analyzing news articles and get some data on it. Fast forward 2 weeks from that, I was about to do my first presentation for iMatrics in this same area. It was for a big South Korean delegation, and I was about to talk about AI and digitalization in the news industry for about 30 minutes or so. We tried the technical stuff. It did work the day before, but when I was about to go on stage, everything just collapsed. My handwritten notes were all over the place, and yeah, needless to say, it was a rough start. So, but a lot of things has happened since then, both for iMatrics and the media industry. Yeah, please. And we're now a team of 10. Here is, by the way, my CEO, Marie. You can ask a lot of questions to her afterwards if you want as well. We have customers in 10 different countries. We still auto-tag news articles for our clients. This year we will auto-tag about 1 million unique articles that are being shown for their clients. We are still in the publishing industry. However, some of the things that we are doing can be applied in other industries as well. Yeah, good. Here is us, by the way, sorry. Yeah, some of the teammates. It was when you go through the lead incubator process, you get a kick in the ass and celebrate that you are now a company that will stand on their own legs. So very proud of that one. Yeah. Good. The publishing industry. This presentation will be first about that. Afterwards, I will showcase more about how I use AI in my role as head of marketing, having AI as some kind of small helpers in my everyday work. And we will finish up with doing some easy applied prompts using ChatGPT, and if there's time, even image generation. Yeah. So when I started at iMatrics 4 years and 7 years back, news publishers has already been doing digitalization, trying to get off their old print production and getting more into online news, getting subscribers and yeah, you see, there was a lot of things that I needed in order to have a sustainable business model that was driven by online business. It was everything from more traffic, engagement, more content, and most of all, and related to us, more data. And when talking about data for news publishers, they call it something metadata. And that means basically information about information. We can click to the next one. So this made-up article, for example, it's about a football team. metadata for a news article, for example, in this case, could be the category, the topic, detailed topic about what it is, places, people, organizations, and events that are mentioned in the text. Yeah, in a bit. However, it's not important to have this data unless you use it in a good way, and there is where we come in. We both help them to generate this data and then to use it in different ways, for example, personalizations and reach and other things that I soon will showcase. But here is just a very short demo of how our product works in action. This is the first product that we had, and we still have it. It has been improved a lot since then as well. But it showcases how it looks when, for example, a journalist is writing its news, and we analyze the text and generate data based on that they then use afterwards. So please. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so here we write the news on the left, and instantly it gets up in the cloud, analyzed by our AI that we have done ourselves, and we create this metadata, the categories, topics, entities, and return it to the article itself. And our system works as a customized system, so we see today that most of our clients are a bit bigger. They generate about between 2,000 and up to 15,000 unique articles every month, which is quite so much. So it needs to be scalable, fast, and very, very consistent when it comes to the data. Something that AI is very, very good at. The challenge for the publishers back in the days when they were doing this themselves is that you have different perspective of things. Just take COVID as an example. One journalist could tag the article with COVID-19, some with epidemic, some with pandemic, and all of a sudden you have a lot of data that is all over the place and you can't use it for good purposes. So this was and is our core product, and we can go on. And as I mentioned, the data isn't good if you don't use it in different ways. So for this example, it's something we call editorial efficiency. There is a lot of things that we are doing, by the way, so I haven't got the time and good examples to showcase them all, so we have chosen these ones. For example, this auto tagging that we just saw have saved, for example, Goto Media, one of our clients, about 115,000 working hours. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for a journalist to tag these news articles by themselves manually. So when you produce thousands of articles every month, it adds up to quite a big sum. And if you look at the time every year, this means about 10 full-time reporters that can do other things than sit around and tagging news articles every month for Goto Media. However, since our core business is analyzing text, a couple of customers reached out to us and said that we have a big challenge when it comes to gender representations and gender equality when it comes to news reporting. And we believe that you can help us with this. They will see themselves as a newspaper by old guys and writing news just about old guys. And the world doesn't look like that. It's about 50-50-ish. So we did a joint project where we now also are analyzing news or gender representation in the text in order to provide a live feedback for the reporters when they are writing news, so they know about how well gender balanced their article is, so they can take actions based on that. For example, do I need to call the expert that I always calling, or can I interview another person, for example? And for them, it's been really, really, really good. They are not 50-50 yet. Will not be that in many years, I think, sadly, but they're getting there at least. Sorry. We also have something called image suggestions. We have a customer in Norway called NTB. It's the Norwegian press agency. They are also using auto-tagging for their news articles, of course. But they have also a company called Scanpix that has an extremely big image database. And as a reporter, when you have, especially when you are a news agency, a press agency, you need to get your articles out fast. Otherwise, it's not worth that much because they sell it to other publishing clients. And sometimes they need to have images on their articles. And if they don't find relevant images in instant, they just click on one. And that means that quite some often we can see that articles about the same kind of topics have exactly the same image. So we did some experimentation to see if the data, the metadata that we generate for them, could be matched with data that is on their images. And if you click on the next slide, we will see an example of how that works. It's in Norwegian. You don't need to read anything. Just focus on that we are getting the metadata based on the text here. Out here, it's about beach volleyball and two guys that has been trainers and taking the next steps. So we want to suggest images for the reporters so they don't need to get into another additional system and trying to find something that is kind of hard to find. And instead getting images suggested to them right away in their CMS system. Saving them a lot of time and also a lot of money since they are spending a lot of money to buy all these images from the photographers. Good. Yeah, takes the next one. Sorry, I'm a bit dry in the mouth today. It's the cold. Yes, and another very important thing for publishers is not only to write good news, they also need to get discovered by people. People need to see the news and they need to get into the site. And when they are on the site, they need to engage with the content, click more in order to generate ad revenues and page views and stuff like that. So we have two products that our clients are using today. That is more into the personalization, SEO, and engagement. Something is called the topic pages. And a topic page is something that you take a page where you curate data, our metadata, on topics, for example, in this case it's FC Lucerne, so the local sports team. It could also be COVID-19, could be a topic page. It could be persons, politicians and stuff like that. This is also something very nice for the readers to get in on a page, find more relevant content that they are interested in, and read more, click more. They can get in with some nice widgets. So very, very nice when it comes to the engagement and the clicks. This is also very good because it uses the data that we generate to create a site structure. So it's much more easier to find by search engines. It also has a very strong internal linking between all these topic pages. A news publisher can have between 300 and 20,000 of these ones. They are generated automatically after you set them up based on different parameters. They can even combine different topics in order to create niche pages to enhance the long tail of the content. For example, carnivals in Köln or folklore music festivals in Mjölby. Nobody has done that yet, but probably a big market. Yes, and also, of course, a curated page with good quality content is also good for search engines. So this has generated over 100% in increased traffic just by taking things that they have already been producing, setting it up in a nice way, and provide it for the readers. Then we have something that we just been starting out with, recommendations. Also to drive engagement and to keep the readers on the news site in order to read more, consume more, click more, everything that contributes to more ad revenue and being a happy and loyal customer. We see that metadata that we work with has a lot of potential when it comes to create good recommendations. We could, for example, we know that recommendations that are about an area that is more close to you, for example, if something happened here in Mjärby while we're here, we are more eager to click on that one. And our data is very good at analyzing the text and generate that kind of detailed topic, so you can get those things. But also things as news value, time, contextual things, something that creates efficient recommendations. But we just started out. We see extremely good potential and results so far, and hope to update in the next coming 6 months. Yes. This is some honorable mentions. Johanna did a really nice presentation of contextual advertising, so I don't need to take that one. But for us, it means like matching the metadata of the taxonomy of the publisher and the taxonomy of advertisers. But we have something called speech-to-text analysis. Really, really interesting. A lot of publishers are doing that right now. We are not that included in this today. We have been doing some projects, but focusing on other things today. But this means that you can analyze everything from podcasts, television shows, YouTube videos, and we see the potential in having publishers cross-referencing people between different medias on the news site. For example, if you're reading about Mjölby Football Club and there's a big podcast mentioning that, you can see that, recommend click, or YouTube click. Perfect. So enhances the engagement and getting more content out to the readers. Yes. So, do you know everything about AI in publishing now? Did it quite fast as well, so that's good. Yeah. And as I mentioned, there is much more to it. I'm just mentioning things that we are mostly involved with. There's things as robot journalism. It's very, very big right now. I have several nice examples and bad cases based on that. Also, ChatGPT is important for publishers. Both publishers themselves and suppliers are doing ChatGPT widgets in order to summarize news articles, make articles much easier to people to understand. Also creating headlines, SEO text, yeah. A lot of things is going on in the publishing industry, and as soon as Meta or Google or anyone is changing things, they just throw everything up again and starting to try to pick up the pieces and getting a new strategy. So both a very interesting industry to work with and also kind of frustrating sometimes. Good. So I know these seats are kind of hard to sit on, so I'm going to do a small exercise in the second part, more about how I got help from AI in my work. And as you can see, I have just thrown up some words on things that I have been working with and experimenting with when it comes to AI. Something more than others, of course. And it all started when ChatGPT and OpenAI launched ChatGPT. Got some tips from one of the developers that said that he knew a tool that I would like. I got stuck right away and have experimented a lot. So, if everybody stands up. Good. So. Yeah, everybody's up. That's nice. Everybody that has been using ChatGPT or any other generative tools will still stand up. Otherwise, sit down. Okay, so everybody's been trying it out. That's really good. Have you tried it out the last 6 months? If you don't, sit down. The ones that are using ChatGPT daily can still stand, the other ones can sit down. Have someone here generated any video or images the last week, so to say? Then stand up, otherwise sit down. Okay, thanks. That's very good to know. So quite an advanced crowd then. We're gonna do some small prompting, so hopefully there's something new for you guys as well. But yeah, let's continue. This is something that you doesn't need to keep track on. This is just one of many images about AI tools that are available, and it's impossible to keep track on everything that's happened. There's new companies popping up daily. However, it's kind of nice to know some of the tools that are for generative AI, some for translation, some for videos and stuff like that. So, yeah, go on. Lead generation. So before ChatGPT, we tried out some other things when it comes to AI in marketing and sales. We tried a lead generation tool. The main topic here is that they, based on parameters that we set, what kind of companies and roles, markets and stuff like that, they will scrape the internet, find relevant customers for us, and then we write a sequence, and then they target these people. We actually did get a customers based on that. So based on that, it was a kind of successful project, but it has some side turns as well. We noticed that we got a lot of leads right into our CRM system, and we know that some of them was not really that good when it comes to if they existed or was it the right email address and stuff like that. But I was kind of ignorant and thought that okay, we're still gonna do a newsletter that we put a lot of time on, and I'm just gonna take everything and send out, and then we're gonna have a 2 list, one good and one bad, and we can take off the bad list. Yeah, but things didn't go as planned. Right away, we ended up in HubSpot's filter, and needless to say, we spent a lot of time in talking to HubSpot and to clean data in different ways. And one of the other sad things when we discovered some companies that for sure shouldn't be in our CRM system. Everything from furniture companies in Turkey, US Army got an offer of trying out their system. A company that was doing PR for drugs. And since Lecture Magazine has magazine on it, the AI found that as well. It provides company, but not kind of company that we were looking for. So you also need to control things. For us, this was not an eye-opener. We know a bit what was happening, but we didn't think that it was this bad, and we didn't have the time and resources to go into thousands of homepages to really see if the AI that we have hired, so to say, was generating good leads for us. Yeah. Nice. Not it's gonna drink. Okay, so brilliant.
Hello, Link Epic. On behalf of Fredrik, I encourage you to go nuts and experiment on AI avatars. You can customize them as much as you want and use them to do sales and marketing messages, instruction videos, and much more.
Yeah, this is something that I've been a little bit exploring lately. I'm gonna put some more focus on this one in Q1 and Q2. And this is a animated avatar, obviously. This technology has come really, really far. So right now you can actually do an avatar that looks like a human, talks like a human, moves around like a human, and be in a kind of environment that you choose. Perfect to do instruction videos, sales material, marketing stuff, and you can just duplicate it by doing some translations. So a really, really efficient way of using new technologies. Yeah, we can take the next one. yeah, put it on the way right now. It looks like shit. Yeah, it didn't choose the perfect start.
Hallo? Ja, also versuche ich gerade für 30 Sekunden zu sprechen, um zu sehen, ob diese Anwendung etwas ist, das wir an Ihrem KI-Tag präsentieren können oder nicht.
Ja,
Zu diesem
ist okay.
Zeitpunkt werde ich noch ungefähr 14 Sekunden lang über Müll sprechen.
Okay. Anybody here that knows German? Okay, good. How did it sound?
It was good. At the beginning it sounded, yeah, but it's good. It's good.
It's fair, yeah, nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't know in German. I can say what my name is, but I think that's about it. But this we tried out and sent to one of our German customers to get some feedback on. They said the same thing. It looks okay, sounded okay, but not perfect. However, it's really promising. This will go really, really fast until you don't make any difference. I just recorded a 1 minute long clip of myself talking in English, and then I can choose from a large number of different languages to get to translate and get a own kind of, not avatar. By the way, Hagen are also doing avatars that you record yourself and then they learn about your face and your voice, and then you can just type in messages and they will do the rest. You don't need to record yourself after that. So avatars, very, very impressive and a bit scary as well. Yeah. So now we're gonna do some small prompting, and I think since it seems like most of you have already done this, I hope we can do something a bit new at least. Which one of you had done blog posts and LinkedIn posts and stuff like that for the prompts? Raise your hand. Okay, not that's good. So what we will do now is to do we'll do a LinkedIn post, blog post. Could do one with SEO focus, is basically the same, and then some headline suggestions. And I want to just take it out of the blue. I don't think let's see here, it's big enough. So can someone please choose a topic that we want to have for our blog post? For example, we want to make a blog post about traveling to Linköping and learn more about AI, or something more fun. Sounds good? Yeah. Okay. Anyone has something crazy? This is just experimental, so we can do basically what we want here.
Let's take the volcano activity in Iceland.
One more time, please.
Take the volcano activity in Iceland.
Okay, what do we want to write about that?
What's happening there? Because they had to move a whole society, so let's check it out.
Yeah. Because this training data is not really on that one, I think, if it's kind of new, but we can still make that up. So let's see what's happening. So let's see here. And, yeah, does everybody see well? Perfect. Okay. Yeah, thanks. And often when you're prompting, you need to do some adjustments quite many times, but we're not going to do that today. Are you happy with the article that we...
Grindavik. Just write it in.
Excuse me, what did you say?
What's happening in Grindavik? Can you prompt that one? And then I will say, I will spell the name again for you.
It still knows that it's Reykjavik, even if I misspell it.
No, it's not Reykjavik. There's nothing happening there.
Okay.
It's just parties.
Okay, yeah, just parties. So sounds like a good
what's
test.
happening in GR?
Okay.
Grindavik. So you wanted something crazy.
Grindavik.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Why is it not? Is it so crazy so it can't be prompt? Okay. It's not. Yeah. Blank. Still writing about Reykjavik. Yeah. Okay. It's so crazy that it spilled over to Reykjavik as well. That's impressive. It's got some things there. Okay, nice. All right, so we want to make a LinkedIn post for our blog post. Turn the blog post into 30 words in post. Engaging. So it's different things I use when I try to prompt, setting the tones and stuff like that. And if I writing something, I want to write something personal, I want some inspiration, I try and train my ChatGPT to analyze things that I have written, just by asking how much information you need from me when it comes to tone in how I would write an article. After 3, it was kind of pretty accurate actually, so really, really impressive. I think it's 4. Yeah, 4.
You said you're using HubSpot, and I know they have AI in that social media. Also, do you use that, or do you always go to ChatGPT?
No, we're kind of bad to use HubSpot, so I will not talk about HubSpot today. We are no good examples on that one. So, okay. But I know that they have a lot of cool tools. Nice. So, and we want to yeah.
I've been talking to a lot of people, and everybody feels always this feeling of something is AI generated for images as well as text. Yeah. How do you try to fix it? Just by retrying until it feels good, or do you have some?
Yeah, the most things I publish for real is something that I write. I use ChatGPT for a lot of inspiration, and of course sometimes when it's just a general post or something, and I don't have the time, I could use ChatGPT to do it, but I always control it. It's one of the main lessons. You can see it as a junior employee, that you can feedback along the way, making it better and better. But still, before pushing the button, it's really nice to make sure that it's correct. I have some nice examples of when ChatGPT is totally lying about things. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So, generate 3 suggestions on SEO headlines for the post. And then once again, it's easy to make it to ask ChatGPT to do it a bit more engaging or professional or downtune it a bit. You can experiment a lot with it. Nice. Good. See how much time we still have. Yeah, do we have time? Yeah. Okay, perfect. We can try some images as well. I go here to DALL-E. Someone who wants to be a bit crazy? Not too crazy, it has restrictions, of course. Yeah. What? Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
Once again, a dog in a Christmas hat.
A crazy dog in a crazy, say what's a crazy Christmas hat. All right, let's see. It's taking some time, of course. I'm sure it's going to be really good. I don't know how many of you guys are using Canva today. Yeah, some. I can strongly recommend that one. Here's the result, by the way. And kind of crazy. We want a bit sweeter. Yeah, Canva is a great tool, and it also has integrations with both ChatGPT and DALL-E and a lot of different things. You can even generate simple videos. So it's really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna round it up. Yeah. So what have we learned? I was touching this a bit. It's that you need to have some kind of control when it comes to this, but still, it's experiment as much as possible. It has come a long way. It's going really fast. You can use it in many nice ways, both for inspiration or doing actual practical things. That's really nice. At one example when ChatGPT is lying a bit is my girlfriend is a teacher, and she wanted to try out ChatGPT in the beginning to write something for the kids. So she asked it to write a text. A fact text about the knölsvan that is fitting for 9-year-olds. And ChatGPT said that it has not a white body, but a black body and white neck and head, and that it eats fish. So it's a bit interesting. And it's waiting on the surface and snap the fish right way. So just for fun, I wanted to generate some images and see what a fish eating black swan could look like. It ends up like this. So she didn't show this this is more new than this. So if you see a swan, then just stay away. It could be really crazy. So thank you. Yeah, sorry, by the way. I have this. If you're interested to learn more or just want to connect and talk AI and marketing and stuff, just reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Fredrik. Is that your best friend we can see there?
Yeah, it was the best image I could find that wasn't AI generated, so I...
That was my question to you. Have you got any other questions for Fredrik?
So back to the publishing companies. So you said that the NTM company, they want to know if they are gender equal, but it looked like it was just counting like how many men, how many women. Does it also value the articles? Is this the front page or just a small one? Is this about a man starting a company or about a woman building gingerbread things?
Yeah, very good question. Today it's not. It's counting names and mentions, but we're getting feedback on these things, and we are exploring how to do it more like that and weighting and stuff like that. So in the future, will be, without saying too much, yeah, it will be more like that at least. But everything takes time. It's a very, very hard question as well when it comes to gender representations. So yeah, we need to tip around a bit. But still, just getting a live feedback on how many men, female, non-binary people are mentioned and how much in text is very good for them, so they can do some things. But it's a marathon.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you was talking about speech-to-text analysis and how you can analyze like YouTube and podcasts and yada yada, and you can compare two different, like one YouTube video, someone's talking about this, and someone's talking about that. Have you succeeded to create an article comparing two different, what do you call it, like articles, to make a new article highlighting the context?
No, we're not producing content in that way. We just provided the services. For example, in this case, when we analyzed the speech to text, it was for Norwegian Television 2 that wanted to try out. They had transcribed, which analyzing television shows and having text on it, and they wanted to see if it's possible to even get a good understanding of what the television show was about based on that. So we did a project together with them, and we needed to divide the television show in different parts, analyze it, so we could say that this as a whole was this. It was about this kind of topics or category, but in this section they talked about the football club, and this section about lifestyle, or this section some news about some people, for example. Yeah. So no, we have not created new articles on that. But that is something that I think I'm quite sure we will see more in the future, especially when it comes to robot journalism.
I have a question about ChatGPT and how you use it, because I write articles sometimes for our newsletter, and I've had troubles with getting the sources right in for ChatGPT. So I send in a link to a document or a research document, and ask ChatGPT to take out useful facts for me to have in my article, but it's been lying to me. How do I? Because I've been doing that, so I don't have to read the whole research document because it's super long. But how would you recommend to use it if you could just give me advice?
I'm gonna do it like this. However, there is publishers, for example, that had this problem. They can just take everything that ChatGPT does, and then, because it's lying quite a lot, especially when it's about news. However, in order to be able to create new content or find relevant information, they have been training a ChatGPT model on their existing database of news article. So it is continuously feeding it with information that they have been written. So they are trying to make it like bulletproof of lying. But still, I don't know how far they have come in that project. But that's one way. Yeah. Okay. So sorry. Yeah.
No, I really don't think that it's a good. I mean, it's impossible to prevent them from lying. I mean, you can't. So I think it's very dangerous if you summarize it and then check a bit and then, like, post this and saying it's a summary of some document if you haven't read it. So I think with scientific articles, you just have to grind down and read it at least. I think there's no other way around it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's terrible.
Perfect. Good answer. Good question. I don't summarize and write so much about science things, so otherwise I would have big problems, I think. Yeah.
Here. Usually I use a lot ChatGPT to create cover letters or to create posts in LinkedIn as inspiration, as you told. But a lot of people told me like this is a way of cheating. Do you think that this kind of mind will be changed in the future, or the most of the people continue with that mind?
if people's mindset will change in the future.
Yeah, because most of them they told me like, don't use ChatGPT. It's really bad. It's not your own words. It's a way of cheating.
Yeah, this is just my impression, but I think that the more time I put in prompting and to tweak things, the better results I get. So it's really hard to just ask one question to ChatGPT, write about this, for example. Then you get a very general text back. But if you put some time on it and prompting, it's the same with AI-generated art, for example. If you're extremely good at prompting what a robot shall paint for you, then you can be kind of unique, but it's also, is it unique at all? Yeah, a lot of questions still. But for me, in my role, I don't have the time to write everything from scratch and to do things very well all the time. So it's for me, it's perfect, but it's depending on what role you have and what purpose you have of the things you want to generate, I think.
Well, I had a comment to the previous question about getting facts wrong and basic facts, lying about them. Just the image you showed, the swan, a basic fact about birds, they don't have teeth. So, I mean, it's a very basic fact that they don't get right. So.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering a bit about your iMatrics software. Do you have any way of making an assessment if something is a fact or if it's an opinion?
Not
doing
today.
the processing?
Not today, but these kind of things is something that we are looking to implement in the future. It's basically the service develops the way the customers want it, and they have said that this could be really nice, but not this nice, so we want to pay for it just yet. But it's a very interesting way of dividing news.
Can I add something? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I work with Fredrik at iMatrics. I just want to clarify that what you're showing with ChatGPT, it's what Fredrik is doing in his own work. With the iMatrix technology that we do is only trained on the customer's data, so news articles. And it doesn't write text, it only analyzes texts and assigns data. That's sort of the basis of it. Yeah. Right.
Good.
One more question.
Maybe the last one. Thank you for the interesting presentation, Fredrik. How do you see future of marketing department with all of the tool happening and as a customer behavior changing? How do you see, your personal opinion, will marketing department will look 5 years from now?
Yeah, it's a very...
I mean, role-based, or what will this be, or what we need as a marketer, as a representative marketer here, need to be sharp of course, so i.e. Thank you.
Yeah, very good question, and a big one. Yeah, but I'm sure it will be looking completely different in the future, and I'm quite sure that some roles will be no more, but there will be new roles in marketing instead. Things that we don't know yet. And for me, if I continue to work the way I do, and the tools getting better all the time, it's almost like have a junior team with people you give tasks, and then you get something back, and you feedback a bit, and you end up controlling a result in the end. And if I could have someone that are doing the videos and texts and images and campaigns and getting leads, that would be perfect, but it's need to be controlled in a nice way. So in the same way I'm putting resources out from me, I also doing I need to do things more, I need to do other things much more, control more and feedback more, and learn more about the technology, so I know exactly why are things coming out the way they are. It's a vague answer, but yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Fredrik, and thank you for all the questions. And you will have more opportunities, the audience here, to ask questions because right now we will have a small, tiny panel discussion up on stage, and so we will invite Johanna up here, and Fredrik, of course, and me and Felicia will try to moderate this.
Is it possible to get some?
And we can join us as well.
Yeah, a small panel, but with a huge content.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Smallest panel I've been in.
Yeah. And every hard question I just. Oh yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So, okay, basic question. First question, just to start the panel. Looking into the future, I mean, 5 to 10 years ahead, what do you think the future will look like in the market of marketing and advertisement?
I think, I mean, we got a little preview here. I think that you will be the commander over a little army of minions that will help you with tasks. So maybe you will say, give me a first draft, and then you improve it, and then you say, I'd like more of this, and please customize it to this customer. So I think you will be sort of more giving the controlling what the AI has contributed and also pointing out the general directions. But I still think it's very important to be good at the handicraft, the craft itself.
Yeah.
I mean, to know the basic principles of how do you sell, what works, what doesn't work, what kind of communication should you use in different situations. So you still have to know the field, but you can work faster because you have assistance. What do you see?
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And it goes so fast. So I'm really excited every day. I wake up and say, okay, how far have they come in different areas, and what things can I start using as little AI minions? That's a perfect way of putting it.
I'll just follow up on that with a follow-up question. Do you think that the development, as you mentioned right now, it's going so quickly? Do you think, both of you or either one of you, that the catch-up effect will be playing out, sort of, or will it just continue? What do you see within this area? Just speculation, I guess, but what do you think?
I think that, I mean, a lot of the technologies that we see in here now are in beta mode. So maybe you pay, but then you pay for the server, because, for instance, the image generation, it's trained on data that is not owned by the people that have the model. So it's, for instance, trained on ArtStation, and there is no consent to use this data for commercial purposes. So I think there will be some time before we can actually, for real, use it for commercial purposes. Without getting sued, at least in Europe. So I mean, there will be like a legal regulatory step. Yes. So that is the next big thing, I think. And then after that, we can, I mean, then we can use it for commercial purposes. We can sell these images. Yeah.
Fredrik, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. And from the perspective of the publishers, it's I think it's. I mean, when ChatGPT first showed up, we got a lot of mail and calls, and what is this meaning, and are you going to go out of business because they thought like ChatGPT, we put it in the kitchen and fix the dinner for us, basically. They wanted to do everything, but then it's going down a bit, and they realized that okay, can't help with anything, and now they're also seeing that okay, this will take some of our business as well. So they're trying to embrace it, but also trying to push it away. Which is very interesting, because they're standing and screaming ChatGPT, and then no, we're gonna sue the shit out of those guys. So yeah, it's kind of ambivalent.
A comment that I have is that I think it's clear that like AI tools will make a lot of the work we do more efficient. I mean, we can do more things faster, but it seems like a lot of people are really worried of becoming like obsolete or useless, and it seems like it's not just related to AI. But I read in a study that one of the major causes of burnout syndrome is that you feel that you're not contributing, maybe you're not in a social context, you're not contributing at work, you're not valued. And I think that this AI just puts it on the spot that maybe, I don't think it will happen, but I mean, consider the theoretical scenario where people can just enjoy life. We don't have to work. For many, that seems terrible. think it seems really nice.
Yes, I agree. More gardening, less work.
Yeah, we can just have AIs here and lying home. That's perfect. Yeah.
But I mean, we talking about ChatGPT and democracy and how to preserve democracy through these tools. We can see that those skills of, for example, reading and writing, that is so super important to preserve democracy. They are decreasing nowadays within children. So do you have any examples of what you think should be done in terms of learning? Do we need to learn in another way, cooperating with AI? So how do we preserve democracy in education? Looking forward.
Yeah, go ahead.
With children, I have a 10-year-old, and she, I mean, she's not the biggest fan of books, but she is really good at like communicating via video. So she watches a lot of bloggers, and she also produces a little bit of video herself with her friends. And so, I mean, I wish she would read more, but I think that the main point is that she needs to be analytical and have critical thinking. And that I think she has to a greater extent than what I had at her age, because she's exposed to so many opinions. So I'm not that worried. But maybe what I am worried about is that people become lazy, that we don't question. We maybe ask like the information to be given to us. We don't go out, and we also don't seek opinion that differ from ours. So maybe that we become just complacent.
Okay, so that might be like a new skill that you need to learn in school as well, even more than you do.
You
did like back in the days.
Yeah, also like so be able to say, okay, I assume that I'm right, but let's assume no, like this. Sorry. So like okay, I think I'm right, but I really want to know if I am right. So how can I find out? It's like a scientific mindset, like what kind of things could disprove my hypothesis, and then actively go out and look for it, which I don't think many of us do, because it's unpleasant to be wrong. Yes.
Yeah, but I think this is also interesting for us grown-ups as well, because we are, especially now, AI can generate real-like movies and images and texts and feed us with strange news. I get commercial and blog post about they have found microchips in mummies, and there's a lot of weird stuff out there that you, even grown-ups, need to be careful with and be criticizing. We're looking into the source much more.
Okay, so looking into your companies and tools, could they be used to nudge for more equal and democratic content also? I mean, we've been talking about gender as an example, but also, I mean, fake news. We could also different kind of ethnicity, sexualities. That just is it up to the customer, and what do they say, or what do you think about this?
Yeah, you mentioned gender. It's one way that you can contribute in a nice way. Also, when we have been doing project where we were looking into recommendations, also where we wanted people to read more of the things that they were interested in, but we didn't want to make them end up in a kind of filter bubble, just reading the same exact thing all the time. So there we can say that we can recommend things, for example, that also is broadening the things that you could be interested in, that takes you a bit out of the ordinary box in a nice way. And as well, not working with publishers that are creating news that are anti-democratic. For example, we got approached by the Turkish press agency in a meeting, and we don't work with them, but that could be, if we want to go after the money, that could be a really good case that we can help them to generate news and spread news that isn't that good for democracy, for example. So that's a stand we need to take. Well, we did take. And
Now, I think one thing that we talked about is that if there is sort of misinformation, we could target those articles and just place an ad saying that, hey, we don't believe all you read. Here is like a link to this fact checker. So you can actively use it to look for misinformation and then inform about it. And I think that we've done is that if there, or when there has been human catastrophes, then we try to make segments that target articles that cover these catastrophes and give those out for free. So if you have like a human AIDS organization then you can use our segments to put on your ads asking for donations next to those articles. So that's a small thing that we can do.
We will turn around to the auditorium here. Anyone thinking of any new questions when you've heard these discussions? Yes.
Or have answers yourself to these questions.
Answers, yeah, even better.
Yeah.
No, I just thought it was interesting to, when you started talking about filter bubbles, that, do you actively, because, I mean, everything we talked about today, of course, drives marketing and sales, but it also actively creates the filter bubbles. So could you develop a bit on that? Like, how do you work against them? And, how do you think ethically about the filter bubbles?
Yeah. Should I start?
Yeah.
I think in a sense, contextual advertising could be a step away from filter bubbles, because at least the information that you're getting is not based on who you are, but what you have actively chosen to look at. So you get more of what you chose. So this means that if you're reading about makeup, you will get ads for makeup, whether or not you're a man or a woman. But that is, of course, only halfway there. I mean, ideally, you should just get the same information regardless. But I don't think, I mean, maybe you can use the technology for that, and actually you can. I mean, it would be perfect for that, because you would say a person that is reading about this would probably never have heard about this other thing, so I should inform about this. But it's not a good commercial idea, because no companies want to pay for that. Yes. Bad answer. Now you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's kind of similar when it comes to news. It's you can create personas, for example, that you have this sport and adventurous persona that are mainly reading articles about sports, but could also be interested in flea markets outside the city, or adventure travels and kayaking gear and stuff like that.
I think it would be super cool if you could buy or exchange personas. So maybe you and I, we have our online profiles, but when we could swap them, can I borrow you? Can I be you online for one day? Or you can say that, okay, today I want to be treated like a teenager, or I want to be treated like someone that's really athletic, and see what happens.
Yes, we have more questions or answers.
Just an added to what you're saying now, it's been talked about in the news industry that you could subscribe to famous people's personalized or
cool.
segments.
Yeah.
So you could follow your politicians' news feeds, and you can look into what it's been talked about. Nobody has ever implemented it.
That's super fun. And I guess, I mean, in theory, you could also have because I know NVIDIA, they have early stage technology for conferencing, where you can essentially have an avatar of yourself, because then you don't have to translate the data. You can have just the perfect version of your face and your voice, and then you send that instead, and then you can speak any language like you did, and you can also make sure that you're always facing the camera. But then maybe you could also be Kim Kardashian in a video call. That would be entertaining.
Like the cat video.
Exactly.
Hi, I could add a bit of information on that, because there's, I think it's called Improve the News. It's a news page where you can put up different opinions side by side, right, left, governmental and more personal. And it's a really good news site. Improve the news dot something.
So you do that essentially. You say okay, I want to be fed news as if I were in this polarity. Okay.
Yeah, so you can just filter it and have the two columns, right and left news, the same news but angled differently.
Yeah, cool.
It's really cool.
Very convenient.
A thought from me. It feels like sometimes my devices are listening to me. I think that you recognize this. So if I discuss horseback riding with a friend, and I don't do that, but if I discuss that with my friend, I will immediately get ads about horses. So how can you explain this? Are my devices listening to me?
I think some are saying that they are doing that, and some still say no. But yeah, you nodded, so maybe more Brian.
I'm pretty sure that they do. I mean, I would be extremely surprised if they didn't. Then what's happening to that information. I don't know what purposes it's used for. Maybe I'm paranoid, but I don't find it completely unlikely that the RSA can listen into a lot of conversations should they want to. I mean, they have a lot of power in the US, and the US have a lot of power. But I don't want to. I mean, I don't personally worry too much about that because I'm so boring. There's very little to know about me. But I just want to mention a prank that some of my colleagues did. So it was when Google Mail had just started to interface with Google Search, so what you wrote about could trigger ads for you. So then they agreed that in every email they would send to him, they would write at the end of the email, in white font, cheese. So they did it for a few weeks, and then he started to get ads for cheese, and he didn't understand why. I don't know if it works anymore, but it was fun.
That's a good one.
And another thought, we saw a glimpse of your digital assistant, and I'm thinking about immersive environments. We are going towards metaverse. This market is expanding a lot, digital products and services and so on. What future do you see for yourself there, and is there a difference on advertisement in immersive environments in comparison to a newsletter? Magazine
in real life contra magazine, you mean, or
or an online magazine in comparison to an immersive environment like the metaverse?
Okay. Haven't thought that much about this, but I think that when it comes to real life, I think I have glasses, for example, and if we can hook up those to metaverse or to any other engines, and I would gladly get directions on the ways I'm going, or being in a shop and getting good prices, bad prices, information about different things, calls. But I'm kind of open to these things, and if I can get good advertising on the things that I would like to buy, I'm super happy, of course. Don't buy that one, boof, boof, boof. It's much cheaper over there, and then I can just nod and then it clicks home to me or something. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think in organization theory they have this notion of search cost, and that is that if I want to make a purchase, then I have to decide where to buy it. I mean, should I get this coffee or that coffee, which is better? I mean, in theory, advertisements, if properly done, could be part of that solution if I get information that is relevant for me. And maybe we could have more of a a collaboration between the consumers and the advertisers, that I share what information or information about myself so that I will get more relevant offers, but I decide what information to share. So then I would say, hey, I'm a vegan, please don't try to sell me coffee with regular milk, it won't work. It's just a waste of all our time. Yes.
But do you think also that people will be more open to share their personal data? If you're wearing glasses, I've seen you can have these sensors also measuring your body temperature, or maybe in the future also glucose level. So this person is hungry, then you should get advertisement from restaurants. Is there a change? Cookies are dying, you said. Yeah, but do you think there will be a change in sharing your personal information?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of individual. I think there is some kind of e-wallets or something like that, where you can share some things to some, for example, advertisers or outlets. But yeah, absolutely. I'm very open. Can I get things cheaper that I really like? I'm super happy about that. But not too much.
I think that will happen. I know there are European banks, I think, that if you share information via data wallet, then they give you a lower interest rate because there's less risk involved. So something like that will happen.
Yeah, it's also in the publishing. Some publishers are talking about, for example, if they have a big archive that can be added on to the service, if the person is typing in some personal information about where they are born and what's their interest, of course, and and a lot of other data, then they can get some things for free, but also then the publisher knows more about them and can provide them with more personalizations. So it's interesting.
Thank you.
What is thoughts about Meta want to get paid to skip the ads for the users? I feel like you threaten or advertisers for them Instagram, so I pay like Spotify to skip advertising. What are your thoughts about it, as for marketers or from the users?
Yeah, go
on. No, I mean, personally, I think it's a really good thing that you can opt out of ads. And I mean, there's still a lot of unpaid services where no one is willing to pay. So it's not like we would go out of business because of that. And the worst thing that happens is that then they come and buy up our technology stack, which wouldn't be really bad either. So I'm not threatened by that, no. Oops.
We're not in that area, so I just stay away.
I thought you had
on the contrary, for you
Yeah,
might be even a positive thing, because I mean, you have the metadata that they would be using.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot about what to use AI for in the long run, and so we talked about, well, AI maybe can tell me to get this coffee or that coffee, but then I have to tell the AI what I need. So maybe I don't need a coffee, I need a kombucha, and why? Well, for my health, and then maybe my health, it's better that I don't do it, and then if the AI is set to just improve my health, it skips a lot of the things that give me pleasure, I get depressed, and what is the, and like, and what is, I mean, what is the purpose of AI? Is it longevity? Well, if everyone lives to be 200, what are we going to do with overpopulation? Is AI there to save humanity, or is it to save the planet? And if it's to save the planet, I always end up in, well, it's better if we die. So I don't know if there's a question in there, but maybe you have thoughts.
But still very interesting reflections. So definitely.
I heard jokes about self-driving cars refusing to drive people to McDonald's because it's bad for them. But I guess that the agency must lie with the person. I mean, you must decide for yourself what your goals are, and that the AI must do its best to serve you. And if there is a conflict between your goals, and I guess there always is, because we want to have a yummy, yummy muffin and we may want to be healthy, then maybe it should like bring this up with us and maybe help us, like make a more particular prioritization. And regarding like living to be 200 years old or infinitely old, I think it would be nice to live forever, but I think it's even nicer to sort of deserve to live forever. I mean, if I could just choose one, I'd rather be a person that would deserve to live a long and healthy life than to live a long and healthy life and not really be deserving.
And live while you're living. I mean, it's like tweaking this AI to understand. Even if you want to live healthy, then Fredrik can still take some cookies and candy sometimes and balance it and learn it along the way, I think. But it's of course terrible if AI will kill us in the future. But yeah, who knows?
And who decides on what is healthy? Maybe healthy is eating a muffin for someone, because then it makes them feel good.
There seems to be like at least 10 different flavors of healthy, or 100, and equally many of fair.
So you mentioned the need of the development of laws and regulations, and also now we talk about ethics and integrity and choices for people. So is that maybe, if we are guessing, what will happen during the next years? Will there be a more focus on these questions, like philosophical questions or ethical questions, legal questions, but the technology development, it will just happen? What do you think? Will there be a focus shift?
Yeah, I think it's going to shift along many times depending on where the technology is and what regulations there is. But yeah, already there is a lot of philosophical perspective on different things. And shall anybody work at all, or just lying home in a kind of metaverse and then have bots doing things and we get some just nutrition to stay alive? Or shall we have AI as a helper to live better and assist us in living a better life and doing more better things, for example, ethnical things as well? So yeah, a lot of questions, a big one.
I know there's a lot of intensive work now on creating regulations in Europe for the use of AI and machine learning. I have a colleague at the university who's from China, and she says like, in China it's not so complicated. Which I think is.
Any more questions from the audience? Anyone? Anything else we should discuss? Anything you think of? What have we missed to talk about this morning?
I think we should appreciate that we are in like a really like interesting, in a good sense, part of human history. Big things are happening, and it raises a lot of important questions which we should enjoy thinking about. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just happy that the technology worked this time. So no, it's super interesting. It's also very interesting to have the opportunity to be here, meet people, talking about these kind of things, and being in the kind of middle of it, and learning new things. So super up for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's time to say a big thank you to you as speakers. We have learned so much. We have also learned not to forget the clicker next time. So, but that's just a small part of it. But thank you so much for enlightening us and having these really pedagogical walkthroughs of how to use AI for advertisement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now there is lunch. And also I should say that if you want to come to more events like this one, follow AI Sweden, follow Visual Sweden. There's a QR code over there. And stay tuned. The lunch will be served over here, so just pick up a salad and a drink or whatever you have ordered. And yeah, stay for lunch and we'll be here to talk further on. Thank you so much.